All right, Daryl's Live coming to you from Southern California here. Happy Tuesday. It's the 17th of October, 2017. Terrific Tuesday. I want to do a quick video. This is Daryl Lawson Live, by the way. I want to do a quick video on the Northern California fires. I've been watching this for the last week or so, or weeks, and a lot of interesting news is coming out. People are wondering what has caused the fires. Now, if you live in California like I do, I'm in Southern California, fires come and go, right? I guess anywhere and everywhere, different times of the year, and especially in California. You get the drier season, you get the winds coming up, fires come and go along the coast, Southern California, Northern California. But there's a little twist, I think, to the fires in Northern California. I'm reading an article right now. It says numerous wildfires in Northern California have left 40-plus people dead, right? Hundreds missing, and forced over 100,000 people to abandon their homes and evacuate. Now, people are wondering, what? You know, this year they're saying it's different than other years. The death count is up. The patterns are strange. The way the fires have been burning are strange. I'll get into that. People are saying, you know, this is not just a natural cause and effect. People are wondering if the fires were intentionally set. That sounds interesting. Well, we're living in a day and age where the New World Order, which is run by the Vatican, is panicking. They want a New World Order like yesterday. They don't like that Trump is president. He's getting in their way. They don't like the fact that countries aren't aligning themselves up, getting the ducks in order, aligning all the countries under their control. They don't like the BRIC nations getting together and resisting the New World Order, etc., etc., etc. So, I'm wondering, people are wondering, are the fires in Northern California, part of a plot to hurt the economy, to hurt California, to hurt the USA? Listen, if you hurt California, you hurt the USA. California is big enough that it's almost considered its own country. Could be considered its own country, yeah. With its population and its income, etc., etc. Are these things connected? Are the wildfires connected to the Vegas shooting? Right? Is the wildfires connected to the Vegas shooting? Are the same people behind it? Is ISIS behind the wildfires? Are the drug cartels behind the wildfires in California? Is the government, is the U.S. government behind the fires? All interesting talking points and dots that I think people need to try to connect. I'm not taking anything off the table. I'm not taking anything for granted, right? I don't care if it's what, you know, in Vegas, we need to continue to observe and uncover what's going on there. I don't care what has gone on in modern history or in ancient history. We need not take anything off the table. One thing I've learned over the years is ask, and it shall be given you. Right? You got to ask questions. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open. Of wisdom, discernment, facts, and information. That's what the Bible says. Jesus said to do that. Jesus said to watch and pray. Watch and pray. Observe what's going on so that you don't fall under deception, right? Especially in the last days. So I want to do this video connecting the dots. Really, from the fires, from the Northern California and California fires around the San Francisco Bay area, the Silicon Valley, Napa area, etc., etc. I mean, look at the maps. It's just, it's huge. And people are wondering, you know, these patterns. Why are the cars melting? Right? Why is the glass melting? Why is the steel melting when, fire doesn't burn that hot, right? You don't melt steel, right? And I've seen pictures already from Northern California. I see cars, steel melting. Funny stuff going on. The zones that are being burnt seems like it's that someone's lighting it for a certain reason in these certain areas. Yeah. Anyways, I thought I would just throw this out here. It's something we can continue to pray about. Am I suspicious? Yes. Is it suspicious? Oh yeah. Could the government be? Could the U.S. government be behind this? Oh sure. Why not? What's new, pussycat? Very interesting. All right, and I'm going to connect this to other incidents that have happened recently that may be tied into all this. Like what? Maybe the the BP oil spill. Maybe that wasn't just, a well and a spill because there was cracks in the hole in the bottom of the bucket. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. Maybe it's more than just, there was problems in the drilling, blah, blah, blah. Was the BP oil spill a false flag event? You gotta bring lasers into this. Some people call them, I think they're really called DEWs. Ever heard of DEWs? Directed energy weapons. People are wondering. Well, I am wondering, because when I read a Bible verse like this, Revelation chapter 13, verse 13. I mean, it's a very easy verse to remember. Revelation 13:13, chapter 13, verse 13. It says here that the false prophet, who is Pope Francis, by the way, and the Vatican-run Pope. It says here in Revelation 13, he does great wonders. People are wondering, what's going on, man? So that this is the false prophet, Revelation 13:13, makes fire. Are we not talking about fires? Come down from heaven. What the? On the earth in the sight of men. Was the Apostle John 2,000 years ago in writing Revelation 13:13 by the Holy Spirit, was he giving us clues by the Holy Spirit of laser weapons, right? Direct energy weapons. Is that what I said? Directed, I should say. Directed energy weapons, DEWs. Here's an article I want to read from, actually. What if directed energy weapons are the real cause for the California fires? Yeah. Like I said, I've seen pictures, and I'm gonna put the links in this video, on the bottom of this video, so you can look up this yourself. I've seen when did the Gulf oil spill? Was that 7 years ago? I think it was. I think it was 2010, right? When was the BP oil spill? I think that was 2010, wasn't it? Let me pull it up, see if Google's awake. Yeah, April 20th, 2010. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill. They even did a video on it with, what's the guy's name? Wahlberg. Deepwater Horizon oil spill. April 20th, 2010. Now, I bring that up because I saw pictures. I saw pictures of the BP oil spill rig before it was completely destroyed. I saw pictures of laser beams coming from the sky, hitting the BP oil rig in 2010. And I'll give you some information article links as well. So I'm just saying, I don't take anything off the table. I don't take anything for granted. I don't think anything is a coincidence, especially now. Jesus said in the last days you would have crazy governments doing crazy things on the earth to bring about the New World Order, which is a demonic one world government. Like what? He said there would be increased earthquakes. It wasn't normal earthquakes. It was increased earthquakes by crazy governments with inventions. Yeah, the governments would manipulate the earth for more earthquakes. That's what Jesus said. Jesus said the governments in the last days would manipulate the earth in famines, in disease. I wonder if that has to do with tainted vaccinations. Surprise, surprise, Bob. Yeah. And Jesus warned us. He said, hey, I think the increase in volcanic activity is also connected to these governmental weapons. From the studies that I've seen and have researched. And Jesus said, there'll be, why, and wars and increasing wars. Rumors of wars and wars. This is all connected. Aren't the governments responsible for, especially the U.S. government, with the British government, with the European governments, NATO, UN, U.S. government, Israeli government, etc., etc. The CIA, the Vatican, the Jesuits, aren't they responsible really for the wars that are going on right now? And it's not for democracy, it's to set up the New World Order. So if they're behind the wars with the pretense of democracy, bullcrap. Did I just say bullcrap? Yeah. Then are they, if they're behind the wars, are they behind the pestilence and disease? Yes. If they're behind the wars and the diseases and the famines, are they behind the earthquakes? Yes. That's what Jesus said. Yes. And then you got a couple, from Matthew 24 and Revelation 13:13. The false prophet, who is the Vatican Pope, you have to connect the dots in knowing that the Vatican is the richest organization on the planet. There is no other organization on the planet that's richer than the Vatican. They have unlimited resources to do whatever they want to do on the earth. Yeah, whatever kind of operation, whatever kind of war, whatever kind of invention, whatever kind of military weapon, they have it. They use it. They control most governments on the earth. Yeah. So when I read Revelation 13:13, it says, he does great wonders. The false prophet, the Vatican, Pope Francis in the last days, who's the head Tinkerbell of the Vatican, and he's the false prophet. He does great wonders. And people are always wondering, I wonder what's going on. So that he does it. He makes fire come down from heaven on the earth. So I'm going to link that to these articles. I'm going to link that to this information. I'm going to put that in the mix. Because I will believe the Bible over any other book and over any other report, because it's never been proven wrong. I've never seen it wrong in my life. I've seen mainstream media wrong all the time. All right. Here's one. What if directed energy weapons, DEWs, are the real cause for the California fires? Darren, what are you doing a video right here in the morning? By the way, yeah, it is 9:39 a.m. When I finish this, I'll be doing a live Facebook live show. This was my video from yesterday, by the way. I just love to be led of the Holy Spirit doing my videos. Yeah, I do 16 live shows a week, and sometimes I rearrange them during the day or the days in order to get information together to put out a high-impact video with the information. Yeah, from the ideas I'm thinking about. Yeah, okay. What if directed energy weapons, DEWs, are the real cause of the California fires? Further evidence highly suggests the surprise record firestorm was created to repurpose zoning developments toward Agenda 21 mandates, the article says. The viability of directed energy weapons. Now they use these weapons in Iraq. Just go look and type in directed energy weapons on YouTube, and you can see lasers blow up areas in Iraq. They use them to shift the tectonic plates underneath the surface of the earth to cause earthquakes. I believe it's also connected to volcanic activity. Oh, yeah. Now, the revolution in weaponry is currently underway with directed energy weapons on the cusp of replacing chemical powdered weapons on the battlefield. I think it's already there. DEWs use the electromagnetic spectrum, light and radio energy to attack pinpoint targets at the speed of light. Now let me throw something in here as well. There was it looked like a nuclear explosion in China a short time ago. Was it last year? And it looked like a laser weapon was used. I think it was called Tianjin, China. It looked like, they said it was something else, but when I looked at the pictures, here's one, the Tianjin explosion caused by Pentagon space weapons. This was from 2015. Another one, Tianjin explosion, theories revealed, 2015. BBC, 2015. 2 massive explosions in the port of Tianjin, Tinjin, in northern China. Killed more than 100 people. Hundreds more injured. I mean, it was just like a nuclear bomb went off there. I'm going to read from this article just in a moment. Did U.S. space weapon cause massive China explosion? China's not China's on the naughty list, right? When it comes to the New World Order. The New World Order does not like China. Or the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And the BRIC Plus nations, yeah. And they try to sabotage not only their economies, but other economies around the world in order to manipulate them into submission. Okay. I do believe that that the U.S., the Vatican-run U.S. government, now they're having a hard time because Trump came in, and they don't own the presidency seat anymore, which is in their way. But 99% of the U.S. Congress is still Vatican-led, New World Order-led. Okay. Did U.S. space weapon cause massive China explosion? Did the U.S. fire a weapon from space at China, at Tianjin, disguising the attack that killed more than 100 people as accidental explosions? A high-power satellite laser beam weapon could do the trick. I'm gonna look at that article in a moment, but I was looking back. That was 2015, yeah. All right, back to the article I'm reading here. DEWs use electromagnetic spectrum, light, and radio energy to attack pinpoint targets at the speed of light. Isn't that Revelation 13:13? When a laser beam strikes a target, the energy from the photons in the beam heats the targets to the point of combustion or melting. Some people even say that these weapons were used on 9/11 against the Twin Towers. City of Santa Rosa, pending developments, July 2017 map. Same as the evacuation map. The area was scheduled to be erased. New building codes. Oh, actually, I'm not going to read all of this. City of Santa Rosa, pending developments, July 2017 map. Same as the evacuation map. Oh, I see. So they're saying that, hey, maybe we wanted to clear the area on purpose. Was this area scheduled to be erased? Then it talks about here, what does China and 9/11, New York, and the fires in Napa, California have in common? Were they all hit with direct energy weapons? What? Now they have some videos. Well, that's a good question. Now let me jump to another article right here. I'll put the links under this video. California fires, DEWs. It says the exactitude of destruction offered by AI or artificial intelligence run directed energy weapons attacks. Well, let me just read all of it here. Oh, at least I'll put it. I was going to cut it up, but I'll read right from the paragraph. Yes, this is the exactitude of destruction offered by artificial intelligence. Run directed energy weapons attacks dependent upon our ionized electrified atmosphere. Structures gone, trees intact. For the military mind, it's impressive indeed. All the nano aluminum particles in the buildings and soil after years of drought. Years of chemical trails overhead. I just finished a near 7-mile run this morning. And I haven't seen chemtrails in the sky in Southern California for a long time. Yesterday and today. Every time they start spraying, I wonder what they're up to. Yeah, that's a whole... I've done videos on chemtrails, chemical trails that the CIA sprays, which is run by the Vatican. Poisoning people. Poisoning the land. Releasing poisons and even nanoparticles. So trying to put it together here. All the nano aluminum particles in the buildings and soil after years of drought. Yes, years of chemical trails overhead. Not to mention the plasma cloud cover laid 3 days in advance of this debacle or the fires. This article says this is the face of modern tactical warfare in service to disaster capitalism and globalist fat cats. Drone footage of fire damage in Santa Rosa. LA Times. Buildings and cars destroyed. Trees and plastic items untouched. It says it's difficult to believe that our planet has been weaponized before our very eyes. But this is exactly what has happened. It says first we were seduced by the convenience of a wireless world. Then atmospheric weather experimentation in the guise of carbons or climate change converted the air we breathe into an antenna. Now the geoengineering we've been subject to for 20 years has been normalized as Star Wars space, as the Star Wars space fence rises around and within us. Is this the space age we were promised? Buildings and cars are destroyed. Trees and plastic items untouched. Pictures, yeah. DEW, directed energy weapons. Even the head of Cal Fire for the state said on CNN he had no idea what started the over 60 strikes that came out of nowhere in the middle of the night without warning. The head of Cal Fire had no idea what started the over 60 strikes that came out of nowhere in the middle of the night without warning. Wow. Now, some people are saying that maybe it's also connected to drug cartels from Mexico that don't want the legal marijuana plants or the legal farming of marijuana cutting into their profits. Well, when you talk about Mexican drug cartels, the Mexican drug cartels are run by the CIA, just like the American drug cartels. The American drug cartels and the Colombian, the Mexican, and whatever cartels are all the same. They're run by the CIA, which is run by the Vatican. Yeah. Are they part of what has happened here in California? Maybe they're all connected. Maybe they're all on the same team. I think they are. Sudden, unexplainable winds kicked up to 60, 70 miles per hour. Blue flashes and sparks were seen above many. Cars were torched, yet trees untouched. Homes were reduced to unrecognizable rubble. Here's a lady from the area in Santa Rosa said she saw bright blue flashes in the sky, which is what happens when these laser beams are shot from space. I saw those blue laser beams over the BP oil spill or the BP oil rig when it was being destroyed. Ladies from Santa Rosa in Alameda says, I saw bright blue flashes in the sky. Zero thunder and never saw lightning bolts. She assumed the lightning storm was happening really far away. And there's videos on there. I'll link that too. Well, it'll be here under the link. All right, so I'm not going to, I'm sure you've heard of this before. If not, then, it's everywhere. Now, I'm going to bring in, now there's videos. I'm not going to show the videos, but you can watch the video on these links. Now, I'm going to bring in this article, which I mentioned earlier. Did a U.S. space weapon cause the explosion in China in 2015? It's from a London Daily Mail. 2 years ago. Did the U.S. fire a weapon from space at Tianjin, China, disguising the attack that killed more than 100 people as an accidental explosion? Or was it an attempt to assassinate Chinese President Xi Jinping? Ooh. Well, if you step back and look at, and there's a video here, you step back and look at the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they don't want to obey what the Vatican wants them to 100% do. Now, they play along with some of the other countries, and the Vatican-run countries, but they like their sovereignty. Ooh, yeah. Let me bring this up here. There's another one. Gulf oil rig was shot by, it's called Miracle, M-I-R-A-C-L, laser. Miracle laser. Isn't that what Revelation 13 says? And he does great wonders so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of humans, men. Then verse 14, and deceives them, the next verse, deceives them that dwell on the earth. Why would the Bible phrase it like this? Why would the Holy Spirit phrase this sentence like this? And deceives them that dwell on the earth. Obviously, we're talking about the earth, on the earth, and space weapons from verse 13, because 14 continues, and deceives them. And deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, what? Which he had power to do. These are the word miracles. Now, if you go to the article, it talks about a laser beam called a miracle. Gulf oil rig was shot by Miracle, M-I-R-A-C-L, laser from satellite. Here's the pictures. The Transocean rig, BP oil rig, was hit by a Miracle laser shot from a satellite. Now, these lasers can be on drones and planes and satellites, yeah. It says, look at the pictures of the oil rig. A huge hole in the helicopter pad. I saw that, yeah. It was like it was just burnt out from space. Do you really believe it's purely coincidental that a laser is shot from space exactly the same day as when the well started leaking 4,000 feet below the surface and a few seconds before the first explosion? And these pictures, you'll see them. These are the pictures I saw, what was it, 7 years ago? Right? They show the burn, the laser burns in the helicopter pad on the rig. They show blue beams coming from the sky and the explosions right after. Now the acronym MIRACLE stands for Mid-Infrared Advanced Chemical Laser. Miracle. The only known successful direct energy weapon developed by the U.S. Navy. Now I'll go back to that scripture. And he deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do. Back to verse 13. He does great wonders so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right? It's a 2,000-year-old verse. People say, well, why did they hit the BP oil rig? Well, for what purpose? Look at the end result, it says in this article. Millions of gallons of the most toxic dispersant possible, core exit, poisoned the ecosystem there in the Gulf, the food chain, and the water for millions of coastal residents. What? Of all the places on Earth to choose to camp overnight, a group of fishermen pulled their boat 50 miles offshore under the protective cover of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig, when they were awakened by a series of booms shaking the rig. One of the men, a marine biology student, immediately began filming the series of events that would quickly become the top news story on the Earth. And this is where these pictures are taken, or came from. Once returning home, the video was quickly loaded onto YouTube. He had captured a massive beam of intense purple-blue light projecting from the oil rig upwards into the sky from the exploding platform. Very clear, intense, and pronounced during the first 30 seconds, and faded to just a faint trace 3 minutes later at the conclusion of the video. Interesting to notice that the witness assumed the beam of light was originating from the rig and going upward. But it was from the sky coming downward. Oh! Just saying. My. Okay, now I'm going to throw these articles into the video mix here. Now you add videos like or information like this. Law enforcement, legal marijuana industry suspect Mexican drug cartels behind California wildfires. Now is this just part of it as well? Numerous wildfires are very suspicious. The law enforcement officials and legal marijuana industry leaders are beginning to suspect the Mexican drug cartels, which is no different than the American drug cartels run by the CIA, which is run by the Jesuits in the Vatican, played a role in starting the deadly fires. Well, if you look back at 9/11, the U.S. government, New York, and the U.S. government wanted to take down the Twin Towers, but the Twin Towers were so contaminated with poisons and toxins that it would cost a boatload of money. But the Twin Towers were scheduled to be taken down. But it would be too expensive for an undertaking, but that was still the plan. So from what I've uncovered is that it was a perfect scenario. Take down the Twin Towers because you want them down anyways. because they're full of toxins. And so and then what better plan? Put terrorist insurance on the buildings, create a false flag event. You bring down the Twin Towers. The U.S. government brings down the Twin Towers and Building 7, and blame it on some guys somewhere else running around in the desert in caves. Blame it on Al-Qaeda. So you can have endless wars, make billions of dollars in insurance on the building, create fear, and push forward the New World Order agenda. Oh, 9/11. What a great scenario for them. Yeah. What? Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm just digressing, but still. They're saying people are beginning to suspect the Mexican drug cartels, which is the same as the U.S. drug cartels, played a role in starting the deadly fires. While massive wildfires are common in California forests, they usually occur in December and January, not October. Moreover, this year's fires have widely been described as unprecedented in size and destruction. 16 fires have burned over 200,000 acres of land in Northern California. Senior Department of Homeland Security officials and key people within the legal marijuana business quickly noticed that the areas hit hardest by the fires are the same places that California's marijuana industry legally grows cannabis, and are now starting to suspect foul play. Yeah. Well, if you look at cannabis oil, I mean, everybody's talking about how it's a miracle cure against cancer. The New World Order doesn't like prosperity for the people. The New World Order does not like people walking around in health. They like people in debt. They put people in debt. They want people in debt. They want people in sickness and disease. Yeah. The suspicious timing also and sheer destruction of the fires has led them to believe the Mexican drug cartels, which is run by the CIA, infamous for their ruthless tactics, had a hand in starting them. These cartels, which is really the CIA, the U.S. government, which run a large share of the world's multi-billion-dollar illegal drug trade, certainly have the means to pull off an attack like this. And it's not just it's the attack the economy. It's to attack the cannabis oil and alternatives to big pharma drugs, which cause people to get even more sicker on the side effects that I think the big pharmacy companies, big pharma, does on purpose. Oh yeah, take this for a headache, then your arm falls off. Oh, take this for depression, and it causes more depression. It's crazy. Oh, take this, but it causes cancer, suckers. Oh, take this vaccination, it causes autism, suckers, or death, or paralysis, whatever. They also have an enormous incentive to drive up prices and hurt their competitors. And these fires are already accomplishing that. If Mexican drug lord involvement is confirmed, it will likely spark an international crisis between the U.S. and Mexico. Well, not really, because they're basically run by the CIA. Photos provided show the wildfires have caused staggering damage with and show the extent of the devastation before and after, blah, blah, blah. The New York Times reported that tens of thousands of marijuana growers live in the area, the vast majority of whom have no insurance. Since marijuana remains an illegal drug under the Controlled Substances Act, the industry still uses cash, so they don't have insurance. They can confirm that millions of dollars in cash has already been lost in the fires, in addition to tens of millions more in property damage. Ooh, you got some competition from growers. Now, actually, it's legal now in California for recreational use. And it's even becoming more widespread in California, like alcohol. Just monitor. Thousands of acres of marijuana have already been burned, and the fires have also wiped out the recent investments in infrastructure to comply with licensing regulations in preparation for recreational marijuana legalization. Wow. just thought I'd add it. I just thought I'd add it. Here's another one. Newswars.com. Is ISIS responsible for California wildfires? Well, whether you talk about ISIS or the drug cartels or the space weapons, they're all run by the same side. Islamic State called on followers to execute arson attacks. Historic wildfires in western United States, Spain, and Portugal are happening, and officials are beginning to speculate that the blazes are acts of terrorism. Oh, you think? Now, it may not be people on the ground doing it. It just may be that this information may be true, and they're just starting the fires from either drones or planes or satellites. Yeah, you don't have to be on the ground. Oh, the drug cartels are on the ground on their little mules, running through the forest, lighting things on fire. Yeah, right. The blazes, they say, are acts of terrorism, which could implicate a variety of groups, including ISIS. Well, didn't ISIS claim responsibility for the shooting in Vegas? ISIS in the U.S.? ISIS is run by the U.S. government. ISIS online propaganda magazine instruction manual. The Islamic State called on readers to execute arson attacks against the despicable crusaders. Throughout history and until the present day, these fire attacks, what do they call it? Incendiary attacks, have played a significant role in modern and guerrilla warfare. Such attacks have been behind destruction of towns, neighborhoods, and public, private, and governmental property. Well, didn't Hitler burn down his own parliament buildings? Yeah. Reichstag. To gain more power. Oh, what's to see there? Anyways, they're not only connecting the wildfires and ISIS in this article, it's also connecting Spain and Portugal. Surprise, surprise. Aren't they going through major financial problems right now? And the big separation of the areas in Spain. Spain, just north of Portugal, a series of hundreds of separate fires have claimed the lives of more than 30 people. Quote, we are dealing with deliberately started fires by people who know what to burn and how to burn it and the places to pick. Terrorist arsonists, they're calling them. We're playing with lives. Ooh, another massive blaze in Portugal killed 64. Was blamed on a criminal hand. Well, what's the difference? You burn people or you shoot people in Vegas? Yeah. All to manipulate areas for what? For the New World Order. You know, this whole, what do they call it? Let me see. Oh, that's I spelt it wrong. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Let's see if Google can figure what I typed. What's the matter? No, you don't know what I'm typing, Google? There you go. Well, you look at the whole Catalonia referendum, and you think, well, is this part of the whole, Catalonia's separatist government has staged a referendum on leaving Spain against the wishes of the national authorities. I wonder if this is the Catalan independence movement, Catalan. Now they're throwing people in jail. Catalonia, this is 3 hours ago, The Guardian. Detention of secessionists, people that want to break apart Catalonia from Spain. Leaders spark large protests. They're throwing them in jail now. throwing them in jail, the leaders. No, I'm just saying, well, is this part of the plan of the fires? Right? In the Galicia region of Spain, just north of Portugal, hundreds of separate fires claimed the lives of more than 30 people. Is this a coincidence? Similarly, fires currently burning through California may have been set intentionally, as many have noted that their timing and size are highly uncharacteristic for a region normally prone to more predictable wildfire patterns. Yeah, exactly. Now they also add here that the law enforcement and legal marijuana industries are calling it suspicious. Well, causation of each of these simultaneously occurring catastrophes in the U.S. and Europe may be disconnected. I think they are connected. The link between jihadist and drug cartels, as well as the increasingly dangerous anarchist communist movement. You know, and basically, we're talking about Russia here. We're not talking about China here. We're talking, the Vatican is a communist organization, which runs the government. You want to know where communism comes from? It's the Vatican. All right, I'm closing this down right here. Okay. Should not be overlooked. Yeah. Anyways, this goes on talking about Middle Eastern terrorist networks, which are basically ISIS and Al Qaeda and Muslim Brotherhood and CIA run. It remains to be seen whether a relationship exists between these deadly and costly infernos in the U.S. and Europe. You know, the Bible refers to the last government before the Lord Jesus returns as the revised Roman Empire. And it will be the U.S. and Europe combined in this end-time leadership role. The one world government will be led by the U.S. and Europe together, as described in the book of Daniel. Yeah. An East and West Roman Empire, revised Roman Empire. Yeah. Remains to be seen whether a relationship exists between these deadly and costly infernos in the U.S. and Europe. But in light of major apparent cover-ups like the one that seems to have taken place in Vegas, no possibility should be dismissed without consideration at this volatile time. As the powers that be seek to keep the public as ill-informed as possible. What? Yeah. And I could go on and on. Now, of course, articles are popping up since people are paying attention. You see foxbusinessnews.com. They're talking about what is this? Pacific Oil and Gas. Now, this is just an article came out today. Pacific Oil and Gas, this is Fox News article. PCG shares were moving higher during Tuesday's session. Let me see here. They're saying could be at fault. Who is it? So far, the wildfires have burned about 217,000 acres in an area larger in size than the city of Chicago. 40 plus people have been killed and 463 people are still missing. Ew. Last week, the California Public Utilities Commission said it was investigating whether electrical lines knocked down by a windstorm on October 8th played a role in starting the wildfire. See, they got to cover it up now. Oh, well, you know, it can't be that, you know. It's probably electrical lines. Then how is the glass melting? And how are the cars melting? And how are the patterns so spot on and so targeted? Yeah. The commission told the company to preserve all evidence with respect to the Northern California wildfires. Kind of sounds like 9/11 cleanup. It currently is unknown whether the utility will have any liability associated with the fires. $800 million in liability insurance for potential losses. The fires are being investigated. Same thing isn't the mass shooting being investigated for 2 weeks, and we haven't seen one video footage from the security cameras. But we are investigating. They're still investigating what happened in 9/11, and they're burying it under the rug. Yeah. And if it wasn't for people like you and me, and people bypassing the mainstream media, people would never know what happened in 9/11. Oklahoma City bombing, chemtrails, fluoride, tainted vaccinations, Vegas mass shooting, and what about the fires here in Northern California? Including the possible role of power lines and other facilities of Pacific Gas and Electric Company of PG&E Corporation. It's unknown whether the utility will have any liability associated with these fires. When we reached out for comment, PG&E told Fox Business, we received the Commission's request and will comply with the request. We know nothing. We know nothing, man. Right now, life, safety, and the well-being of the customers and communities affected by the devastating Northern California wildfires is our single focus. We'll restore gas service, blah, 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 electricity as quick as possible. Yeah. I'm just saying, information is out there. Is there not a pattern? Did this not happen to the BP oil rig? Did this not happen to Tianjin, China? Did this not happen at the Twin Towers? Don't we see evidence of this also before great earthquakes and tsunamis? Is this not connected? Are we not entertained yet? Yeah. The massive amounts of fish that end up on the beaches, and the whales and the porpoises and the dolphins and the fish that are coming and dying on land now that are burnt up, from these DEWs, directed energy weapons. Ooh, yeah. Every time there's these big earthquakes, there's this massive amount of dead fish that happen to be on the coasts of California and different parts of the world. Are the lasers being shot into the ocean to cause earthquakes and tsunamis off the coasts of Japan and other countries? People are seeing these lasers all over. And it's not like we don't have the videos and the pictures of it. Yeah. Like I said, drones can have them. Planes can carry the lasers. Satellites can carry them. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Directed energy weapons, DEWs. Yeah. I think there's a lot more to it. I think that we are privileged to be in a generation where we can have the information at our fingertips and expose what's going on. Yeah, why not? And not just accept whatever CNN tells us, the fake news tells us. I love to go deeper. And like I said, if I didn't read these things in the Bible, I wouldn't be thinking much of it. That is this really related to end-time Bible prophecy? I think it is. And he does great wonders so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth. In the sight of man, people can see it in the last days. 2,000-year-old verse. And it's connected to deception, verse 14, Revelation 13:13 and 13:14, and deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which is the same name of the laser beams, had power to do in the sight of the beast. What? Fire from heaven and deceives the people. I don't want to be deceived. I live in California. I'm not going to be deceived. And by us asking, seeking, and knocking, I'm not living in deception. And I'm doing this video to connect the dots and to show us that Bible prophecy is being fulfilled right before our very eyes. The Antichrist is in our midst. Obama is the Antichrist. Watch my videos on him. He's coming back into power. You know that, for 42 months. Yeah. Revelation 13 says that he will come into power and then get out of power, be removed from power. Revelation 13:3. Then he will come back into power for 42 months. Revelation 13:5. Power is given unto him to continue 42 months. I wouldn't be surprised, and I would be, yet I wouldn't be, if Obama comes back as a U.S. president to continue for 42 months, which is almost the full length of a full 4-year term of a president. Obama is, salivating. He's drooling, wanting to come back as a president. He can't stand Trump. He's trying to derail Trump's presidency. What happens if the next rapture happens during a Trump presidency? Will that usher Obama back in to power, being the last president to be in office before Trump? The whole designated survivor mentality. Who's next if everybody disappears? If the Trump administration disappears in the next rapture, say, will Obama step up? Will people say, well, let's just bring in an interim president, the last president, back into power to continue for 42 months? The Bible's very accurate. So I'm not leaving anything off the table. The fact of the matter is the Antichrist is in our midst. He's already been in power for 8 years. He's been removed, according to Revelation 13:3, and he'll come back into power, Revelation 13:5. Now, the Vatican is staging their DEWs in the sky to bring deception on the earth. That's what I'm saying. All right. All right, time to go. Got to do another live show here in a couple minutes or so. Darrell Lawson Live signing up. Don't forget to go to my website, darrellawson.com. This video will be uploaded and archived on YouTube. It'll be on all my social media outlets, Facebook pages, Twitter, Google+. Don't forget to go to my website, darrellawson.com. Get this information out to other people. Let them put it together. I like to show the spiritual and the physical realms together, and to show that how the end-time prophecies are happening right before our very eyes. Some Christians will not be told this. Most Christians are not told this from their religious affiliations. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here, to get the information out. We have these big pieces of the puzzle happening right before our very eyes. Jesus is about to return. Yeah. And I've heard it before. People say, well, I heard it before. Yeah, well, here's the proof. You don't pick a day, but he's coming back really soon. And you don't want to be left behind during the Great Tribulation period with Obama and Pope Francis. Hell no. All right, Darrell Lawson Live signing up. Go to my website, darrellawson.com, for all the information. Sign up. I have, what is it here? As of today, 1,634 videos just on YouTube alone. YouTube alone archived. Yeah, and then I have over 500 videos archived, extra videos on Facebook. Over 2,000 videos I've done. Pass them on to other people. Listen, we're running a spiritual and physical marathon here. Do what you know to do every day. Hear the word and do it. Pray, fast, tithe, forgive, witness for Jesus. Hear and do the word. That's how you win every day, day in and day out. And if you're not born again, Spirit-filled, get born again, Spirit-filled, and do the word. Jesus, wash my sins away. Fill me with your Holy Spirit. Get in the Bible and do it. All right, Darrell Lawson Live signing up. Don't forget, I have a donation button on my website, darrellawson.com. Tithing is of Jesus, right? Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 12. All right, I'll see you later. I'm going to do another live show here in a moment. I'll be back soon. Share this video with other people before it's too late. darrellawson.com.